Hello everyone and welcome back to Banishers. I'd figure this is about episode 8 or so. And as we jump in, a big thank you to Salamander, Solid Chrome Hickey, and Marquack, who have been gifting subs and cheering and have already gotten this channel off to a hype train. Very much appreciated. And I'm so glad to hear that you guys have had a good weekend all. We're going to be picking back up with Banishers here with 2 active investigations underway. I really wanted to try to go like do full investigations in each episode, but last episode there was a lot happening, and we've moved into an all new area of the map where we're up at Fort Jericho. I doubt very much that Mrs. Priest has anything further to say, but we can ask.
Have you found the old entrance to the mines?
We're working on it.
Good. If I may help, just say the word.
Farewell, Helen.
I'll be seeing you. I hope.
As we walk out the door here, Marquack has a brand new foster cat that's staying with him. Fans of the channel will be well aware of the fact that Marquack fosters and helps to raise. Marquack, oh my goodness. Marquack has just cheered an additional 1,500 bits. That's on top of 2...
An innocent woman jailed.
I don't know about the innocent woman being jailed.
The captain doesn't strike me as a petty tyrant.
Helen is right. The truth lies down there, somewhere. This is no...
Okay, and here I thought that she was finished talking. Yes, much far past level 2 hype train. Marquack, seriously, very much appreciated. Did I finish the previous thought about that Marquack helps to foster and rehabilitate cats so that they can then be reintroduced into the foster system and go on to find their forever homes, and his latest foster has just come to join him. When we unpause, Antea will still have something to say, but I also wanted to connect with Marquack about McMaster's stream yesterday, because he and Tom Chick were interacting with McMaster. I think I barely missed talking to Marquack there, but that was a very fun stream as well. Let's unpause so we can continue with what Antea was saying here.
Coincidence. This all connects back to the curse.
Is it then possible? Well, hold on. No. I was about to say, is it possible that the nightmare is multiple different characters, maybe women specifically, that have been mistreated? First Deborah, and then this other woman. But now that I think about it, there's no reason to assume that the woman that Pennington jailed is not also Deborah. We don't know the circumstances of that. Marquack was saying that his intent was to watch the stream but got pulled away and didn't make it back. It was a good time. I regret sometimes that McMaster doesn't save all of his VODs. He's had some really great adventures. But no, seriously, Marquack, Hickey, Salamander, I really appreciate it. I had a pretty relaxing weekend and yet wasn't feeling super well, and this is the place we wanted to be. Yeah, the Miller Trading Post. So I like people to know when they've really brightened my evening in this case. Very much appreciated. Okay. Well, we can't get past this. How would we ever? We must... Oh, you know what we do? We pull the wagon from the other side, and then we can hop that fence. Except we might not be able to do that yet either. So let's just, since it's the start of a new episode, let's just get caught up on our haunting case. So this is the heir, that's what it's called. Their attention drawn by her plaintive plea, the Banishers met the ghost of Rebecca Hardgrave, who was desperate to get her lover, Fernando Miller. To get to her lover, Fernando Miller. She asked the Banishers to seek him out at a store in Fort Jericho. Yeah, the two of them were together. She's dressed very fancy. She appears to be a woman of some high social class, and didn't make the trip to Fort Jericho. She passed away partway through and wound up in a grave on, like, some random cliffside. And I have some questions about that.
Closed. Are we in the right place?
Try next door.
Anyone home? No one.
Papers in Miller's name. We're in the right place.
Keep looking.
Is the audio okay for you guys? It's fine for me. It just suddenly occurred to me that I don't remember if it got set up properly. Just let me know if you can hear the voices and everything okay. Herewith remarked and confirmed that ownership of the store, heretofore known as the property of Mrs. Rebecca Hardgrave, now passes entirely and without encumbrance to Fernando Miller, confirmed by the relevant legal authority, meaning me, to be registered as is required when circumstances permit, signed S. Pennington. Okay, thank you, Sam Melinder. Audio is good on Marquak's end as well. There's all these little things that you learn to check before stream.
A sansa. It's a musical instrument. It's Bantu, from southern Africa.
Okay. We'll look at that in a second.
Vardy reads English extensively.
Well, nobody's perfect.
Hello to Crow! Okay, just steal some
He's
fur.
organized.
Disorganized traders lose money.
And the hype train has pulled into the station. You guys, thank you very, very much. We were in the early parts of Hype Train Level 3. Hugely appreciated. Crow, yes. So I don't know anything about, well, I don't know anything about musical instruments in general, but that is apparently a Bantu instrument from South Africa. Did I hear her correctly? But Crow, you're from New Zealand. Oh, God. I'm very bad with details. Crow, you are from South Africa? Originally, I'm very bad with remembering facts. Amulet, a piece of wood carved in the form of an amulet, but not yet finished. Cape Town. Okay, got it.
He's making protective amulets.
He's making useless trinkets.
Well,
He
not
works
that...
hard to keep it away.
I didn't get the sense that she tried to harm him.
What is he afraid of? What don't we know? Let's search the store.
I would love to. Can we get into it? Oh, wait, if we go out the back way, then we can move the wagon. So, Crow, in your experience, is that an accurate representation of a Bantu instrument?
Stock to trade. He hasn't unpacked it.
Maybe he intends to move on. And who could blame him?
Okay, that's locked. And we don't need to move that further. So now we can go around and then hop the fence. Crow is confirming that yes, it is. So Crow, if you just arrived, Marquak was just sharing that his new foster cat is with him. Her name is Jedi, and will be with him until March 4th, though he thinks, at least March 4th, he thinks that it might be somewhat longer as she sort of, like, reacclimates to humans.
Surprisingly high-quality wares.
Can't be many left in New Eden with the means to buy.
June 18th, Ingersoll's shop, luggage and jewelry box 5 and 50. June 19th, blacksmith, luggage and furniture 7 and 9. June 23rd, Ingersoll's shop, Rebecca's paintings and portrait 3 and 10. Blacksmith, Rebecca's calligraphy kit 1 and 4. I can't even begin to guess what 5 and 50, 1 and 4, like what these represent. It's a register, but I just don't understand that particular.
He's done surprisingly well for himself.
Where did he get the inventory?
It could be like $1 and, 10 shillings or whatever, like whatever the currency is. It just seems like a cumbersome way to write it out with the AND. And that instrument is, Crow is saying that it's Mbira? I'm probably way off the pronunciation. And also, Kalimba, depending on where it comes from. Rebecca Hardgrave's will. He just leaves this out, does he? Last will and testament. I, Mistress Rebecca Hardgrave, in the town of New Eden, being of sound mind and firm intention, bequeath to Fernando Miller, in the eventuality of my death, my entire estate, including, but not limited to, the following items: jewelry box, paintings and mirror, collection of books, baggage and contents, calligraphy set, sundry furniture, any and all cash money as held in my possession or in my business or with any bank. So I guess the business itself, I guess so. However, the calligraphy set I noticed was also on the register of things that had been sold. I'd have to double check if the other... I think that wasn't the jewelry box on there as well?
Rebecca's will. She was rich. She left him the lot.
That's where he got the inventory.
No. The list matches his sales record.
Touch my money and I'll drop you. What are you doing here? Thieving, no doubt.
I'm no thief, Mr. Miller. I'm the Banisher. I brought Helen Priest back to the fort.
A banisher? Thieves lie. How do you know my name?
'Tis my business to know. Red McCraith.
If you are a banisher of ghosts, I have business for you. I'll pay.
I spoke to Rebecca. 'Tis she who haunts you. She sent me to find you. She worries for you. Says she loves you.
The English have a word for that. Hogshite.
If not for love, why did she bequeath you her fortune?
Whichever. It matters not. You're a banisher. It is your job to get rid of her. Can you not just do your work?
Easy, Mr. Miller. Now, I'll need to examine Rebecca's belongings.
I sold them. All of them.
You did? To who?
I don't know. People. I wrote it down. In the register. Read it, if you wish.
2 recent sales to the blacksmith and to Ingersoll's store.
You've put quite the effort into protecting your home, haven't you?
You poked about my house without my say-so.
I know my business. So out of generosity, here's the truth. None of it works. Not the wreath, not the amulet. None of it works. Pretty, though.
His brooch is working.
It works. She hasn't come back. I can sleep now. I hear her calling, whispering my name. I wait to find her at my bedside. Our eyes meet. She stares. She won't leave me alone. She's an Akishi, a demon. Banish her. I'll pay you.
I need a job. I accept. A storekeeper hears much. What do you hear, Mr. Miller?
I'm a busy man. If you've a question to ask, then ask it.
So, Crow, that word that he just used, again, I might say this wrong, an anakishi or something like that, is that word also familiar to you?
You've put quite the effort into protecting your home, haven't you?
Okay, hold on.
I know my...
I think I
wreath.
jammed 2 buttons at the same time.
A storekeeper...
I'm a...
Okay, back to what we were talking about.
What can you tell me about Captain Pennington?
He has no problem with me. I have no problem with him. He respected Rebecca's wishes. He gave me what was mine. My freedom. Her estate. He saw me as a man and signed the papers to say so. And when them who saw different complained, he laid down the law.
What think you of Helen Priest?
I don't think of Helen Priest. I stay out of her way. I hope she'll stay out of mine.
How are things in the fort, by your estimation?
Look around you. Things are desperate. Have you heard the sound of their bodies crashing against the wood? I am a man of courage. I have endured much. But this, it undoes me. I don't know what you people have done to this country, but there's little hope and no way out.
Seems a little bit weird to do commerce right now, but...
Your stuff looks good. Let's trade.
Now, my friend, we are conversing.
So, Crow, this may be something that I'm not meant to know, and it, like, for all I know, it might wind up being a story spoiler, but, I mean, Red might know. Does Anakishi have any sort of, Anunnaki? I don't think so. Or Anakyashi. I don't believe so. There's something... I feel like I heard about something else that was somewhat similar, but definitely a different word. Is there a meaning to it? Sorry, I don't know why it jitters all, like, whatever. Let me see if I need any parts. So now that I know that we can go to open inventory, which is literally right there, can we do any upgrades? He doesn't sell any seashore candles. I know that somebody does, though, so we're gonna keep an eye out for that. Nest silt, nobody sells that. No. No. So, with 42 linen, we could do it. And I have 0 linen, which means I'm not really expecting that I'm going to wander across some linen. Okay, so, maybe 84 linen is what I want to buy from this man. He looks like he's only got 40. But... oh, wait, no, that's as much as I can buy. Well, I can buy 38. Do I want to spend all my money on linen for this guy? I have 0. I don't know where else I would get linen if not to buy it. Let's buy it. And he has 2 more to sell. So let's sell something worth, like, $8. There. Sell me your last 2 linen. Now, I guess that that's not actually enough to do the next round of sale. Should I sell anything else? Because I don't know if this guy's going to be in business in 5 minutes, so... I guess I'll sell at least 100. Let's sell 80. And then I'm going to sell 60 of this. And I don't want to sell any fur. I don't have that much fur. We've got a lot of those mushrooms. We got a lot of this twine. The wool. I'm just going to hold on to that, though. We'll sell 40 wool. There. Okay, so now I have some money again. Scaly One, thank you so much for the resubscription. I feel like it's been a minute. I hope that your February has gone very well.
Farewell to you, Mr. Miller, sir.
You know where to find me. If you're buying, I'm selling.
Okay, search the Ingersoll's store. Most of the doors in there are locked, as I recall, and then search the forge. Crow is saying that,
He'd sold it all. Everything she'd owned. And fast.
Why the hurry?
If we track her things down, perhaps they'll tell us.
Anakishi is an old word for a demon or a devil or people behind the veil, which is exactly how this game describes it. Scaly One says that her February has been going well, and asks how it's been going here. Very well. If you have not yet seen Banishers, this game is very cool. It's got a bunch of combat, but also a bunch of dialogue and investigations, and right now we're investigating the case of the haunted shopkeeper who suddenly inherited his shop from his wife, who died very, very suddenly, and I have questions about it.
A note?
Let's see.
Joseph, I received the things you owed me. They're good. I thought you a liar, but it seems that you're not. Rebecca's slave, Fernando, was not satisfied with his dead mistress's fortune. By Pennington's order, he's a free man now, and a merchant to boot. This shite shall be the end of us, mark me. Anyway, we are quits, you and I. Until next we shuffle cards in the barracks with the men, I'll fleece you then once more. Theodore. I don't think that I've met a Theodore. I'm trying to think if I've met a Joseph. It's interesting that Fernando was defined by him as a slave, because I don't know if that's prejudice or true. I will say that Rebecca did not address him as a slave, but rather as somebody that she loves very deeply.
Ferdinando was a slave. She was his owner.
She kept that quiet, as if it were of no consequence. We know where to go. The barrack room.
Scary One is agreeing that the game looks cool and that they've stopped by a few times while streaming it. I am greatly enjoying it.
I mean, as wolf pelts go, it's pretty. We'd have more than enough of them.
Yeah, we've talked to both those
in
folks.
Boston are not short of wolf pelt. What do I do with this?
You're a merchant. Sell it.
I'd sell sunshine to the Spanish, but that is not...
That quill. Bet that's what we're looking for.
The quill. Okay.
A vivid memory from the dead is somewhere near.
I only recognize my name in the list.
Distant family, but I can't disinherit them.
I would never ask you that. To have met you is already more than I ever expected. If I was to lose you, God forbids, I'd cherish all that reminds me of you.
If you were to lose me, all that I own would now be yours.
He claimed not to love her. Why lie?
Maybe he did once, and now he doesn't.
Let's see what he has to say about it.
So I want to see the intent. Fernando Miller pretended to love Rebecca Hardgrave so he would inherit her wealth. That feels like it's making a lot of assumptions. He, like Red said, might have been lying about not loving her. Although that would be a weird way to tell that lie because it just gives him more of a motive. There's also... I don't know from like the 1600s, but within the scope of my adult life and like my parents' lives, there would also be potentially a tremendous amount of personal danger for Fernando if he was determined to be in a romantic relationship with a white woman. So I'd like to know more about this before I go casting blame or whatever else. Knowing she loved him, Fernando pretended to love Rebecca Hardgrave too. Okay, I guess this is what's been determined. They're touching spirit things and getting maybe more than just what we see, because he could be a good actor, but he also could be in love with her, and now finds that he needs to say that he didn't. Inherited the wealth, trying to rid himself of a ghost. Yeah, see, we don't know as much about her. Was enslaved, and Rebecca Hardgrave was his owner. The other part, if we're to take everything there at face value, everything we saw from her was corroborated by what she said previously. Okay, it's a whole poem. I'm bad at reading poetry. I'm sure it's wonderful. Or dreadful. My sweet Ethel, some of my comrades are sick. I can do nothing for them, squeamish as I am. Matthew spent the night at the nurse's side, carrying buckets. Okay, we read this one. Your Talbot. Did I read this one as well? We definitely did. Okay, because I remember the shadow. I'm not sure which of these things I should be heading towards. Oh, that's a different haunting case. Yeah, let's pick up a third case in a few minutes, okay? No love lost. Confront Fernando. Okay. this game is set in New England. That, in this particular time period, doesn't necessarily make it any less racist or dangerous for people of color. So I'm waiting to hear more from Fernando. I wouldn't have termed it a confrontation, but rather, hey, we'd like to follow up on a few discrepancies.
Banisher?
Folk talk about you. About your past.
I know what they say. They say I am a murderer. They are wrong. As she lay dying, Rebecca Hardgrave gave me my freedom. Before that, I was her slave.
How very romantic.
If it weren't for the captain, the good people of New Eden would have let me die too.
Rebecca was in love with you. The feeling was not mutual. True?
I was her pet. A dog nuzzling its master, hoping she might loosen its leash. She loved me, she said. I allowed her to think I loved her back. I sat up and begged and let her pet me. I was a very good boy.
You gulled her, then took advantage.
To a slave, a crumb of freedom tastes like a loaf. You'd have done no different. And I'd do the same again. Enough chitter-chatter. Perhaps you should get back to work. What am I paying you for?
I'm a banisher, Mr. Miller, not a rat catcher. Ghosts were human. They're emotional, full of hopes and fears about the past and the future too. To find out what ties the ghost to the living and end the haunting, I must know the story. You want me to finish the job, then the story must be told. The ghost must manifest.
I do not like this idea. This idea can shit itself 6 times by sundown.
Come on, break the brooch and let's get it over with.
No choice remains. Let it be done. And I'll be done with it!
You're here at last!
Step no closer!
I don't understand. Are you not glad to see me?
Now, Banisher! End this!
Not now. You need to hear the truth, both of you. That reminds me. Rebecca, you omitted to tell us that Ferdinando was your slave. That you owned him.
I loved him.
I was a slave! I was not free to leave. What kind of love is that?
What are you saying? We loved each other.
Love? No. I told my master what she wanted to hear. I gulled her with a lie. I thought you a fool. But no, you believed me because you wanted to. Yet you didn't believe me, did you? Not entirely. That's why you never freed me.
I loved you, and you loved me. It was but a piece of paper. A piece of paper and a guarantee. I needed a guarantee.
You don't know what love is. You know only fear. You feared being undesired, being unnoticed, being alone.
How very human of you, Mistress Hargrave, but hardly an excuse to own a man.
Time to give this love story an ending.
Just super quick. Okay, now we do have the rest of her things. On her deathbed, granted Fernando Miller his freedom. Afraid of losing Fernando, the man that she loved, Rebecca Hardgrave kept him enslaved. So, Red's top priority is collecting enough life energy or souls or whatever you want to say in order to bring his beloved back to life. From everything that we've heard, Rebecca here absolutely did love this man and would have, was ready to commit to a life with him. And he saw that and took that and betrayed that in order to, whether or not he was responsible for her death, which I feel like is not currently implied, although it does feel like she died very suddenly. He did everything he could to weaponize her love against her in order to get what he wanted, and now he gets to go on living this life of finery and running this store, and yet he killed a slave owner. So big ups to you. Do we banish or ascend? A slave owner, though.
Rebecca Hardgrave, you are blinded by your emotions. You cannot see the harm you do.
How can love be harmful?
You imposed your love on someone who could not refuse it. It was just another chain with which to bind him.
I only wanted him to be happy.
No, you didn't. You wanted him to be yours.
There is nothing for you.
My own master at last. You understood. I misjudged you. Thank you. Take this for your trouble.
Skill point. Thank you. Short on those. No, actually, you don't have to give me anything. I don't know what he actually handed me, but no, that's cool. The reason I wanted to talk it through, and the reason that I will continue to talk them all through, is that, again, Red is moving further away from having the love of his life by his side, every time he doesn't blame. So it's really gotta be compelling stuff. And the thing is, what is the value of getting back together with somebody if in the act of doing it you betray your morals so thoroughly that anything that you ever lived for is then a moot point? It's all just dust. None of it mattered. Just get this one person back. Would Antea still be in love with him if he did that? I don't know. We're learning about the nature of their relationship as we go, but just like with the, oh gosh, who was it? Oh yeah, the woman that killed her abusive husband. There's some lines that you just can't. At least I can't, and I would like to think that Red can't either.
Can I help you?
Being a merchant seems difficult, indeed.
You'll forgive me for this, but being a merchant here in New Eden seems a difficult calling.
Why? My father was a trader. At his elbow, I learned to count. And I learned to converse. There is no trade without conversation. And all conversation is a trade. And here's the thing. In conversation, my father said the wrong thing. He angered a soba. Suddenly my father was dead and I was the merchandise. Who better to be a trader abroad than a man who has been traded abroad?
Farewell to you, Mr. Miller, sir.
I'll always be glad to see you, my friend. Come to me if you need anything.
The other thing that we're learning is this is the second person of color that we've met here in this fort who personally attests to the moral character of Pennington, Soldier Pennington, Captain Pennington, that's the name that I'm thinking of. That he not only treats them as full equals that are participants and helpful and, you know, carrying their weight here at the fort, but he makes sure that nobody else harasses them. What's the phrase that I'm thinking of? It's more than harassment. Victimizes them, targets them. Let's also... So now we're at the question of, do we want to start another haunting case? And I kind of do, because again, I just learned something about Captain Pennington. in that. Like, I had it in mind from the hunter that we talked about last time. I don't remember her name right now. And now we've met Fernando. I don't know every decision that Captain Pennington has made, but we have a couple people now that are willing to attest with their own lives to the quality of his moral bearing. So I want to learn anything more that we can about the people that reside here. So I want to go to this. Okay, it might be upstairs. Hello to Fox McCloud, by the way.
You've saved our sorry asses, sir. Of that, there's no doubt. You've earned us a rare bit of rest, and that comes most welcome.
You alright, soldier? You look drop dead weary.
The dead don't sleep, do they? And me being asleep won't stop them coming.
Your comrades think you're too scared to sleep. You should prove them wrong.
I don't give 5 shites what they think. They may tend to their own duty while I tend to mine.
All bullshit aside, what's going on?
What do you care? I have my problems and you have yours, so let me handle myself. I ain't important, and I don't deserve no help. Wasted time helping me anyway.
You heard the man. He wants no help. I see no reason to force it on him. For now, at least.
As you were, soldier.
So, okay. I guess maybe I should have said you're haunted.
I'd like to help him.
Oh.
Old soldier and all.
All right. Let's start with his billet.
Hello to Buckeye Ninja, who's saying good evening. I hope you had a good weekend. I had a very good and relaxing weekend, Buckeye. I hope that you did as well. I hope you had a time to get some good games in, including the game that you were streaming just yesterday.
Andrew's things. Where are you?
Medal. In honor of the bravery of Andrew White, King Philip's War, 1678. God bless the king.
Reward given to a brave soldier. I believe we found Andrew's things.
To Andrew White, Fort Jericho, my love, I'm sending you this letter so that you will not worry about our situation. My parents welcomed us with open arms. My mother was so happy to see her grandchildren that she prepared a real feast. My father grumbled a bit, as he always does. He can't wait to get back to calm, but he is still very happy to have some help in the fields. He will never admit it, but he is proud of our 2 strong sons. Besides, Isaac and Abraham are quite happy to be back in Providence. They say that the rules are less harsh there, and I can only agree with them. I can't wait to come back to your side, my darling. I'm afraid of what might happen to you. I think it's high time we left New Eden for good. This town is cursed. I've always told you. I hope you are well and that your nightmares are not haunting you too much. Don't forget what the nurse gave you. Despite the distance, I continue to sing every night, hoping that my songs reach you and reassure you as usual. I love you with all my heart, Karina White. Or Corinna? Buckeye did get some gaming in. Really didn't do much else. Hey, sometimes that's the best way to decompress. 16th July, 1677. So this is 20-ish years ago, give or take, to Private Andrew White of the Massachusetts Militia under the orders of Lieutenant Pennington. White, bearing in mind your recent endeavor on the battlefield, on the advice of your lieutenant, you are promoted to a role commensurate with your skills. Henceforth, you shall be a recruiting sergeant responsible for ensuring the replenishment of our forces with well-trained men, initially to camp at Haverville. Colonel Addard. Addendum, as we discussed, your health deteriorates, and the incident has not helped your good man White. Pennington. As we discussed, your health deteriorates and the incident has not helped. We do not know the incident, but Pennington likes him.
This is our best lead yet. Maybe we missed something in the infirmary.
Maybe. After that, we might look for his train band record.
Also, my memory from the last episode, and again, this was yesterday, so I might be misremembering, but I thought that Captain White, Mr. White, Sergeant White here wasn't super up on Pennington. So it's interesting to find a letter of, or at least a note of recommendation there, like you're a good guy. I may be misremembering, but I thought that Sergeant White was one of the folks that sort of came in a little bit cold on Sergeant Pennington. Captain Pennington.
Pretty empty armory.
Looks like someone's been living in here.
Oh, what, because of this stuff? I feel like we might have read this last time. Yes. Yeah, this is where Andrew White was writing the letters of condolences to the family. But the thing that I'm looking for appears to be up higher, and I don't think that I can get there from in here unless there's some additional pathway that I don't know about. So we might have to go outside and find a different way up to the second floor. Also, Buckeye, at least the last time that I looked, you had worked out how to have your VODs saved, and I was very glad to see that. Because I think the last time we were talking about it was like, once you have the VOD saved here, then you can export them, you can save them, you can download them for editing, like you can do all of that other stuff, but it all starts with just having them available. The alternative is to record them separately. And I will confess that we've never tried that. There's probably something to be, like an argument to be made for, like, running a recording a long time to stream. That just seems very, very system intensive. Okay, I have definitely not been up here. Captain Pennington's report about Sebastian Priest. So this is Helen Priest's husband, who is currently a ghost. Sebastian Priest is promoted and shall serve as my lieutenant. The ceremony was simple but joyful. Priest's wife, impressive despite their recent loss, assured me her husband shall not disappoint. Good. I need a strong officer to organize the quarantine to come. And that's how he died. He was sealed in the mine with the other soldiers during the quarantine. Report about Cotton Peabody. So Peabody is the guy with the severe skin condition. I don't know how else to describe it, but he's currently in the infirmary. Cotton Peabody may like me, but I do not like him. As long as he does his work and keeps his nose clean and his mouth shut, he'll have no trouble. But I am suspicious of his nature and shall be watching. See, here's the thing. I don't know what to make of Pennington. We got like a pretty even split from the folks that live here. War never changes. Is there any good reason to start a war? Yes, say the kings. No, say the widows. Who cares, said my military teachers, for we are soldiers, paid to fight, kill, and die. Was there a way to avoid war with the Indians? Maybe. But there's been too much betrayal and too much blood spilled to ever settle peace again. We failed as a God-loving and rising nation, and I could be disposed for just writing this by people who never saw the dead bodies of the women and the children, colonists and native alike, in the burnt ruins of their farms and villages at rainy dawns. I was among the soldiers who were sent to Bloody Brook after the massacre to count the bodies. I was among those who fought at the Great Swamp Fight of 1675, and I take no pride in this slaughter. My dreams are haunting me. I really hope this new command I took in this new Edentown will keep me away from any new war I would be asked to win. Hello to Grumpy! Grumpy, we're investigating Captain White now. Sergeant White. I'm gonna continue to get their ranks wrong. I'm so sorry, everybody. Captain Pennington's report about Helen Priest. In case of trouble and or strife, may this report correct any error in the record. Mrs. Helen Priest is a woman of the highest value, combative and capable, the fort does well with her present. It would do better without. For all her capacity, she lacks the most basic loyalty. Interesting. He holds her in very high esteem, but also recognizes that she is not to be guided by loyalty. Whether or not that's loyalty to him or loyalty in general, there may not be a distinction in his mind. Oh, there's our key. Okay, well that's... Now we got a new decoction. Spiritual ward, Zen mind. Wait, was it spiritual ward then? Health recovery 170. Damage taken is reduced by 20%. Spirit points gains are reduced by 40%. That's not very good. Well, it's a significant penalty, is a better way to say it. Okay, that's just down, right? Yes. Sam Linder, thank you very much for doing the shout-out for Grumpy. I would love to have a shout-out for Sam Lander as well, but I know that he won't do one for himself. Captain Pennington's report... I would really love it if you did, though, Sam Lander. Captain Pennington's report about Andrew White. Andrew White. Okay, so this is the guy that we're investigating. 8th June, 1677. Last morning, I took 12 men and rode out from Portsmouth in search of an attachment from the Plymouth militia, late arriving after a 3-day mission of patrol. A half-day's ride north, we came across their remains. Only one survivor. As he recounted the details of the Indian ambush their attachment faced, I was impressed by the fortitude of this young private. Andrew White is a promising and devilishly robust soldier, and I shall join the Massachusetts militia under my command. He shall also be accordingly rewarded for his bravery. And that was by Pennington.
Trinket to mark a life of sacrifice. Oh, I bet he'd rather have his sleep back.
Can't change what's done. Time heals all. Or so I'm told. Any idea who this ghost might be?
We may know a soldier by his trail of dead. Could be anyone.
Captain Pennington's report. You know who it could be? It could be, we just read his name, you guys. Mr. Priest, Helen's husband. I'm not remembering his name. She said in the previous episode that one day after 7 years, he just suddenly showed up again. What if she's not the one that he's haunting? Like, what if she's sort of like, oh yeah, and also her. Captain Pennington's report about Anne Wings. So this is the medic. Note to them as reads it. Nurse Anne Wings is as fine a nurse as one could want. Born to the trade, she is invaluable. I do not know how the sick and injured would fare without her. Neither do I know how she would fare without the sick and injured. Legendary cache. Oh, this is going to be someplace far away. Eliza, my grandfather has at last passed away. That's an interesting use of the word passed. And I made sure he left me a small legacy. It isn't much, but it shall tie us over to the next year. Soon we shall be wed. When you are in need, find me. Fortune favors those who wake at daybreak. I don't know how that could be more vague about where I'm supposed to go. But again, the characters will let me know when we get close. New Eden, 23rd day of May, 1691. This is about Theodore Shepard. Oh, it could also be Theodore, a character about whom we know nothing, like we're encountering Theodore for the first time. Theodore Shepard is contracted to the train band. A veteran of King Philip's War, he is the finest shot I've ever seen. Less admirable is his arrogance, but I suspect the two come hand in glove. Flora Abbott. Is Flora the hunter? I think it is. A Miss Flora Abbott has joined the company to fight against the monsters. I'll take every hand I can get, the steadier the better. Miss Abbott, having demonstrated that her hand is steadier than any man's by shooting a thimble on a post from a full 200 paces, is hereby contracted to the train band. Those who would complain, Theodore Shepard, principal among them, can go to hell. I'm pretty sure that she's the hunter that we met last episode. So we have looked everywhere up here. As far as I know, we've read every document that there is, and now we know what Captain Pennington thinks of basically all the principal characters. Mostly that he seems to me, based on my own gauge, to be a pretty good judge of character, and somebody who's generally willing to step aside and let people who are good at what they do what it is that they do. That includes, by the way, Helen Priest, who he did not banish and he did not kick out of this fort, but also recognized that she might represent a morale and chain of command problem for him. In other words, he said the fort might be better off without her. Actually, he said it would be better off without her. But as far as we know, he did not make any moves to get her out. That doesn't mean that he's a good guy. I'm just sort of taking the weight of all this. Okay. I guess we'll investigate the infirmary. Oh, there we go. Andrew White's medical report. Notes about the patient, Andrew White. September 1694. The patient's nightmares have increased in intensity. He is very anxious and skips meals. December 1694. The departure of the children from New Eden, and thus of Private White's family, has caused him terrible insomnia. January 1695. The patient gradually regains sleep. The mixture of certain herbs seems to help a little with sleep. February, fewer nightmares. The patient is, however, more anxious. He does not want to talk about the man he sees in his dreams. March, Private White spends some nights in the infirmary. He starts to be affected by dementia. However, this does not last more than half an hour. May, the patient has calmed down but still lacks sleep. However, he speaks of shadows and figures appearing sometimes at night when he is not sleeping. June, which is like, isn't this currently June? After it's been a couple weeks, it might now be July. The anxious deliriums are much more recurrent. He sleeps very little. Something seems to have awakened old painful memories. Private White does not dare talk about it, but he seems to recognize the figure that stalks him in nightmares.
13 years is a long time to live haunted.
White must have a will of iron.
Kept it to himself. Must have been hellish. I'll talk to Andrew. Might perk him up a bit.
Let me look here, just in case there's anything new here. If it's all herbalism notes, we read a lot of those last time. Okay, we read that. I thought... Okay, I want this document in the middle. Okay, then what's the document on the... right? Left, rather. Wait, that's part 2. Is this part 1 then? I'm so sorry. This is part 1. Okay, we didn't read part 1 before. 12th of March, 1689. Private Andrew White has been having recurrent nightmares for many years, since 1682, he says, even if he's had trouble sleeping since 1678 and the end of the war. His treatment and the evolution of his condition will be annually recorded here. The year 1689. The treatment with herbal infusions has made it easier for the patient to sleep during the year. The nightmares became less frequent. One anxious delirium was reported after the anniversary date of Andrew's comeback from the war. 1690. The patient's case improves slowly. Depending on the month, his doses of herbs are doubled. No anxious deliriums. 1691. Private White is calmer and rested. However, 2 heavy anxiety episodes have occurred. The patient finds it difficult to talk about his dreams, but admits to seeing a blurred figure at times. 1692. The herbs no longer seem to be effective. I'm looking for a new treatment. According to the patient, his nightmares are more frequent and frightening. No other heavy crisis to report. 1693. The new treatment is working. The nightmares are scarcer, but more intense. Depending on the month, the doses must be doubled. No anxious deliriums. 1694. The treatment has lost its effect. Nightmares are more recurrent and intense. The patient is suffering from chronic fatigue. 6 episodes this year. The patient does not dare talk about his nightmares. Okay, the herbalism notes we did read last time, so we can skip those. I actually had a distressing dream just last night. I had a dream that it was the last day with our dog, and our dog was going to be given away. That, like, not... Like given to somebody else to go live with somebody else. So it wasn't as dire a dream as I can imagine that it could have been. But no, it's just very sad. So I don't... Is this Andrew? I think it's Andrew White, but let me just see.
Aren't you a sight for sore eyes? And if my eyes weren't sore before, they are now.
You don't get many visitors, do you?
Aye, and I like it that way.
Okay.
As you were, Mr. Peabody. See you about.
Not like I can go anywhere anyways.
I feel like I would handle being insulted a lot better if people were at least that clever about it. We can't possibly ask her about Captain White.
Good day.
Sergeant White.
It is, isn't it?
No, okay.
Farewell, Nurse Wings.
Farewell, and good health, sir.
Hold on.
Good day.
It...
What's the word around here?
The only thing I hear is Mr. Peabody's ranting, and that is hardly worth repeating.
Okay. So yeah, I wanted to see if, like, any other names might pop up here, but no.
Farewell, Nurse Wings.
Farewell, and good health, sir.
Wait, I just saw something flash over here. Sorry, you.
You should have had your breakfast, friend. Anyway, greetings.
I'm Antea Duarte. This here is Red McWraith. We're Banishers. Now, who are you and what do you want? Who are you? This isn't gonna be easy, is it? Are you the ghost haunting Andrew White? Is that a yes or a no? Mute ghosts take forever.
This is pointless. We're hunting in the dark with no light and no spoor.
First, you have to find out what's keeping him from speaking. Andrew won't be much help. But if our friend here can't tell us what he wants, maybe he can show us. Do you want us to follow you? I think he wants us to follow him. He left stains. Clever. I'll keep an eye out so we don't lose them. Over here. I'm reminded of one of my first cases. The ghost was mute because the person haunted refused to talk.
So this one is mute because of Andrew?
I don't know. Maybe.
From what we've heard, White never described his dreams to anybody. Like, for years and years and years, he suffered with these debilitating dreams, but he would never tell anybody what they were of. That's an interesting new thing about hauntings in this world, that if the ghosts aren't recognized and discussed, then they aren't as complete. I feel like it goes down the path, so I'm going to continue down the path. Just a little bit.
He's leading us somewhere.
There he is.
Here, we can go on. The ghost haunting Andrew seems weak. Drawing out the torture the better to enjoy it? Or holding itself back, afraid to feed too much?
If mine had been so kind, maybe I'd have slept nights. I'm jealous.
Don't be. These ones are the worst. Years withering, decades even. It's an awful way to go.
Yeah, I'm thinking about, I think in the last episode, maybe the one before, we heard about, oh, see. We read something about, like, what the world of the living is like for ghosts and how remote and abstract, how flat and difficult to discern it is. This dude's been doing it for more than a decade.
Our friend the ghost could have shown us a safer route.
Or he's just playing with us.
He doesn't seem very playful, though, to me. I mean, maybe he's, again, is just really good at putting on an extremely morose exterior, but I don't think that he's doing a lot for lulz at this point. By the way, Fox, how has your weekend been? Hope it was relaxing, time off from work, time spent with family, friends, games, movies.
He wants us to follow him.
I mean, I want to follow him too, but it sure looks like there's a whole party happening over here.
Wait, the stain is fading.
Okay, we'll come back. Okay. Oh, good. There's a big question mark there, so we're not going to have any trouble finding it. Marquardt needs to head out. Marquardt, again, thank you very, very much. She said, come here. Oh, I wasn't following the path. Marquardt, seriously, very, very much appreciated. Thank you for the awesome start to this stream. I hope you have a great evening, and please let us know how Jedi is doing later on in the week. Hopefully she gets settled in and will be more accepting of pets. I'm glad she said something, because I should have been in, Antea mode.
Spectral writing on the wall. See for yourself.
Fox kind of saying that he did have to work, but at least he got to watch some fun streams. I'm very glad. Just a quick pause here to say, Fox, I'm always very, very glad if I can help make somebody's work shift a little bit brighter, help them get to sleep, occupy some audio space while they're working on something else. Very, very, I'm just very glad for that. Forgive yourself, mate. You must not give up. Okay.
Our ghost does not seek revenge. That makes things easier.
Be strong for me. You guys, I can't write on a sheet of paper this neatly. You must live. Courage, my friend.
Joshua Gouge, gone too soon.
What's it going to say? Joshua Gouge outstayed his welcome. Our new friend is waiting for us.
I will follow him in just a second. Her rings are still glowing. It's just, no, it's not the things on the wall. Okay, wait. That's where it is. As Fox says, go stabbing on my writing abilities. And by the way, I've really tried to improve my handwriting. I really have.
Joshua looks kindly on Andrew. What were they to each other?
Not enemies? What? That doesn't make any sense.
Brothers in arms, perhaps. You never feel as close to a mate as when you fight by his side. You fight for the man beside you, not for money, not for a king. For your mate.
You have friends from the war. First I've heard of them.
They lost contact. Maybe when this is over, I'll look them up.
So, my concern is that the trail actually seems to be going
Most young men are taught to dream of war. And when they get there, they dream of home. And they're not busy fighting and dying, that is.
The other thing that I'm just now noticing... Okay, I mean, if they're going to walk me past this, don't see how we don't have this fight.
Ask for help if you need it.
I'll look at it in just a second. But yeah, I guess the summation is...
I'm losing the trail. Hold on.
It is...
The right words of power may force the nearby specters to show themselves.
It is very difficult for me to think of an act that somebody would commit in the pursuit of securing their own freedom from slavery that I would consider to be unjustified. I feel like pretty much anything is on the table if you're being held in servitude that way.
Reveal your true self.
Oops.
Did we miss a few?
There's more of them.
Move yourself.
Trying.
This isn't over yet.
Oops.
There's more of them. Get back up.
Ow. That was way too much for just that little guy, but... Yeah, I really should have saved my banish for Alpha Glutton.
Leave it to me.
X.
Standing by. Snap out of it! Call on me.
Alright. That one was easier than many, just because the trick to it was do a lot of light attacks, and I tend to do a lot of light attacks, so it was the most natural fit for what I normally do. Also, I do agree in chat, I would love to know what the genesis of that particular animation is, because I don't know anything about guns. And if somebody came along and said, oh, well, actually, there's this one...
The stain is fading.
Yeah, no, we'll go to it. There is actually this one gun model that was popular in the late 1600s that loaded exactly that way. I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't know. It seems a little bit weird, but maybe that's exactly what happened. As it is, as we've talked about before, pouring gunpowder down the barrel and then sort of racking it like you're cocking a shotgun, a modern-day shotgun, is just very strange. Oh, sorry, we should really... Hold on. There might be an echo here that I was supposed to touch. And it's not that I'm calling for, like, a lot of high realism, but you would think that maybe he would...
He's leading us somewhere.
If he had a special Banisher gun, like he was in Briscoe County Jr., that was just suspiciously modern for this particular time period, I don't feel like we'd have that sort of question. But instead, he got his gun from just like some random hunter, and since then has gotten some other firearms, but they all seem to reload the same way. I will say, though, it does not particularly pull me out of the story, because also we're hunting ghosts. Oops.
Brought more friends.
It's getting serious. Down, boy.
Okay, we'll head down there in a second, or maybe we will. Yeah, that's where the stain goes. So...
Wait. The stain is fading.
Yeah, well, we're within the search parameters, so I'm gonna go look up here for a bit. I'm financing our entire lifestyle by selling extra flowers that I find in the fields. I'm part banisher, part florist. Benjamin and Ethel Bly. Have we been up here before? I feel like we've been up here before. I feel like we saw that headstone and she said, "What a wonderful headstone." They must have been very wealthy. Maybe that was somebody else's, but I really feel like that was theirs. Yeah, because we came down here and did this whole thing. Every time you do it, it gets harder. But I want to follow the ghost. So the ghost thing comes down here, and then... Maybe I'm meant to do this battlefield thing. Nope, nope, we can see it. For anybody that missed the previous episode, I did do that one once. I may come back and do it again. We might do it on our way back.
There are stains here.
But I don't want to spend our lives doing optional combat challenges when we can also be following the story. there's an argument to be made that this guy's been hanging out for 13 years, trying to brighten up the spirits of somebody who really, really dislikes spirits. But I look at that and I say, he's done his service.
The past linger here.
Oh yeah, we saw this before. In loving memory of brothers fallen in the fight for freedom, forever in your debt.
Shite! To arms! To arms! They waylay us!
The right flank! Hold them off!
Josh! Behind you!
Good jump, blustering code! Help me!
Joshua! No!
Patikin, thank you very much for the raid. We're just reading through this very quickly. An old pistol belonging to Andrew. This tie is doused with the essence of its ghost. Once a closure has severed the ghost's bond to the world, this essence will be automatically consumed by Antana to make her stronger. Patikin, thank you very, very much for the raid. I hope you had a fantastic time playing Helldivers. How is it? It seems like you and Zorosio... Sorry, I'm very off mic here. Let me try to adjust it here. It seems like you and Zorosio were having a lot of difficulty... Hold on one second. This is acting very strangely. I'm so sorry. Okay, I could not get it to type before. Earlier tonight, Patikin was playing some Helldivers 2, or more accurately, trying to, and they kept losing connection, he and Zorosio, and a third person who I think was there as well.
Nice to meet you again, Joshua.
You want us to help Andrew White give up his guilt and get on with his life. Am I right?
We know you died fighting by his side. Is that why he feels guilty? Is this why you can't speak? Oh, I've been there. I'll do everything I can to help.
If help we can.
Only these two could talk to each other.
Andrew needs to start talking. As long as he swallows his guilt, nothing will change. There's a wall between these two, and we must knock it down.
I may be able to do that.
Well, the wall is...
Andrew failed to save his friend and blames himself for it.
Guilt is normal, but you must let it go.
I had claw marks on it.
None of this explains what binds the ghost here. I'm right here, you know.
Wait, hold on.
I think this area is similar to the map's instructions.
Oh boy, hold on. This area is similar to the map's instructions. I'll take your word for it. Patikin is confirming they got disconnected from each other every now and then. It seemed like at least once a game, or at least between the games. Did a quick play at the end with crossplay off and no issues then. I was also looking it up, Patikin, while you guys were playing. I don't put a lot of stock in the next thing that I'm going to say, so please take this with a brick of salt. But somebody said that they'd heard that some of the issues can be resolved by disabling global illumination and maybe notching down like anti-aliasing or something like that. That doesn't sound like something that affects connection issues, but there's also been weirder things that happened in the world, so... Do we have any idea what map he's talking about? Let's see if we can find in the inventory. Sources, quest items. Right, we still have to go find Fear God. I didn't forget about that, I just haven't done it. Charles's invitation. Yeah, this seems like not that. Special items, maybe? Ah, here we go, special items. So, this is a legendary cache, but I don't know a lot about that. The waterfall cache might be a little bit closer. Looking at this section of the map, let's just see if it bears any resemblance to where I am in the world. Maybe. Yeah, actually. It looks like it could be down here. Wouldn't it be great if we could have those two images up side by side? I think that it's the opposite way. Patikin says, who knows what the issue is, but he knows for sure that it's not on his end. I've heard that there's been some connectivity issues with Helldivers, that the game has proven to be a lot more popular than they anticipated, so they've had to spool up some additional servers and stuff. But watching you guys try to play and hearing Zerosio be like, this game is really great if it could get out of its own way. Special items right here. Maybe I'm completely making this up. Yeah, no, this doesn't look anything like where I am, I feel like. We've also got this big, long Washington monument. It looks like we'd have to be in a gully, though, for that. Mysterious Cache 2. Yeah, I'm going to say let's actually just go forward again, and if he calls our attention to like, oh wow, this is really close now to where that map is pointing. Czar really loves it. The game. That just, it seems very frustrating. To have something that would be a lot of fun to play with people, if only you could get, like you have people there that want to play. Because I'm looking at it and being like, hey, this seems like a really good time. Like, maybe I want to... Oh, here it is. We did find the treasure. Patikin is noting that it didn't... And we got 3 nest silt. We need that for all of our upgrades. It did not stop him from playing for 5 hours. But hello to you as well, Czar. Czar, I hope that you've also had a good weekend. Who was it? Fox was asking how... Was it Fox? We were just chatting with somebody before Patikin raided over, and they were asking how the weekend went. The weekend went very nicely, I'd say. Almost any opportunity to hang out with you guys and to not be stressed about work and stuff. Pretty good time. Okay, think for 1 second. We're just heading back to the fort now, yeah? I would be very interested, maybe in a, like, after I've finished playing way, what percentage of people came here to Fort Jericho versus how many went to the other location? Because I really like the idea of a main story that branches to completely different environments with different storylines and different things to do. I feel like it gives a huge amount of replayability.
Back already?
Too soon. We don't have the full picture yet.
I'll take my leave of you, Flora.
I'll not stop you.
All right, so we are back with Andrew White. Patigan, I know that you've been avoiding spoilers, so I would say that the next section of dialogue would probably have a bunch of that. I would hate to give anything away. Thank you very, very much from the raid. I know that you're up extremely late, even for you, which is very late indeed. So if you do head out to go to sleep, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. On the other hand, if you're up to, like, drift off to sleep with some Banisher talk, we're going to be having a chat with this gentleman right here.
Anything to report?
I don't usually bring it up, but I was a soldier too.
Thought as much. Where'd you fight?
Well, first I fought my way across half the Highlands. Later I'd fight wherever my paymaster sent me. Bavaria, Bohemia, Austria.
What's your war story then? We all have one.
He's referenced something that happened with a group of boys.
I took my men into a village, let them at the drink. You can imagine the rest. I didn't partake, but I didn't stop them neither.
'Tis hard to keep God in your heart while you walk through hell. But you know what never leaves? The smell. That sickening, coppery vapor rising as a man's life pulls beneath him. For all those brave young boys we send off in search of glory, that stink is their rude awakening.
Easier to die with than live with, perhaps.
Perhaps. Perhaps not. But come. Blood soaks away. Let's not dwell upon the past, and men long gone.
You're not like this, but we must speak of Joshua.
Leave it be. In the past, where it belongs.
Your past is very much present. Your friend Joshua has a message for you.
He wants to take revenge. I know it.
You're no wrong. He wants to give you freedom. He never blamed you. You blamed yourself.
Why would he not seek revenge? He's due it.
He doesn't see it that way.
I shot him. I was trying to save him and I shot him.
Hold on. How did this happen?
We were skirmishing in the forest. 2 Indian fellas bore down on Joshua. Dropped one, but the other had him cold. I was 20 yards away. I raised my musket, pulled the trigger. Bullet went straight through his skull.
You took the medal though, didn't you?
I can't look at it. Bastard and thin has Josh's face on it. I don't deserve no pewter medal. I don't deserve nothing at all. I don't deserve to live. I don't want to live. I want to die. Please. Please. Put me out of my misery.
What is it with you people wanting to die? Deadly serious now. You sure this is what you want? You're in no doubt.
I'm certain. I can take it no more and do not want to.
No. You survived. Now you must live.
Joshua? Is that you? It cannot be. I saw you dead.
It is, old friend. I've tried for the longest time to speak to you, but your guilt took my voice. You must live in peace.
I have done the right. I shot you. I was sure my aim was good, but it was not. I shot you.
It was an accident, Andrew. You tried to save me. You failed, but you may make amends. Until you give yourself peace, I cannot have mine. Save me, Andrew, save me. Give yourself peace and save me.
Joshua, you have spoken. Andrew, you've heard. It's time to end the story.
Oh, I really wanted to hear some more between them. Oh no. So, what I would do is I would ask Andrew White to sleep on this. Well, that sounds like I'm being funny, given his extreme insomnia. I would ask him to give it 72 hours. You give it 72 hours, and then you let me know what you want to do. And if you still feel like you can't do this, I will send you on your way. And don't ask any questions in advance, because it's a lot more painful than you think it's going to be. However, we don't have that option, okay? Absent that, I would say, now that they've had this, I would want to give Andrew White all the time necessary to reconcile this and to go forward, because in my opinion, you can always choose to die the day after tomorrow. Like, it doesn't, you know, like, that's an awfully permanent decision. I wouldn't want to, like, hurry him along. Red is in a different position. I really wanted to say that we're in a position right now where what I would do and what Red would do is very different. Red is going to be thinking back to that first, remember the two trappers out in the woods? Well, actually the one trapper out in the woods, because he murdered his boyfriend and shoved him off the cliff because they were so sleep deprived, so hungry, so desperate. They'd been lost out there for months. The two of them had a fight. It got out of hand, and Red, in my headcanon, Red was able to justify taking that guy's soul because his life was ruined. He had been eating his boyfriend for who knows how long, this disgusting maggot-ridden food. He was going to have Kuru. There was never going to be any way for him to reconcile with this guilt and to get back into human society again. And because he was able to justify that, he was able to banish that guy. I wouldn't have, but I feel like Red could and did, because his priority is getting back together with Antea. Andrew White said, I can't live with this anymore. I feel like Red is going to be able to look to Joshua Gouge and see the suffering that this ghost has been through for the better part of a decade and a half and say, Andrew White has asked for this, I'm going to grant it, and it's the only way to know for sure that Joshua Gouge is going to finally be able to find his rest as well. So I feel like that's going to be how that he's able to justify it.
Andrew White. You've faced death, soldier. More than once. You and he have shaken hands and he has tricked you. Yet rarely have I met a man so determined to walk into death's embrace.
Aye, Banisher. I have seen too many dead. Just one. And then no more.
You swore. You swore to help him!
We are helping him. We're freeing him of your curse. We're ending his haunting.
Calm yourself, my friend. I choose this. Allow me my dignity and forgive me for my sins. Do it. Please.
No!
I just want to read through what we have, but that didn't feel as horrible as I was actually thinking it was going to, because Andrew White really did feel like he had made peace with what he wanted. Andrew White won a medal fighting in King Philip's War, suffering from soldier's nostalgia. Is that what it was called at the time? Andrew White hallucinates. Trying to save his friend Joshua Gouge from an attacker, Andrew White accidentally shot him dead. His accidental battlefield shooting of his friend Joshua Gouge haunts veteran soldier Andrew White to this day. We'll just see if we have anything new about Joshua here. Killed in battle. Wants his old comrade to forgive himself and move on with his life. He got neither of those two things, I feel like. Redden and Taya laid the blame for the haunting on Andrew White and took his essence. That... I feel like that might be what we put on the report. It didn't feel like we were assigning a lot of blame, frankly, but... Okay, so that's the case.